Like that, start. Here we are.
Yeah.
Alright, AWR episode Ocho. Got it.
Yeah.
First try. What's up, Romeo? What's up, dude? What's up, dude? First try. Ocho.
Yeah.
And it does help that Chad Ocho Cinco changed his name to his number because it's never allowed me to forget what 85 is in Spanish. Therefore, I just, okay, what is half Ocho Cinco? And as you see, Romeo just nailed it.
Yeah.
So episode 8, Talk Time.
Yes, sir.
We are here on an interesting episode today. But by the way, if you support us and would like to be a part of our first 100 subscribers giveaway and then the one we're doing after that, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you fuck with us in any way, shape, or form. If you don't, you should still hit the like button.
Yep.
Or if you don't, you should leave a comment about how much we suck and why.
Yeah.
That's what we would say. Like that's what more could we ask?
Or at least leave a comment letting us know how much you appreciate us, little son.
Yeah, we love both spectrums. You bring whatever you feel. It's like we say in our own bio. Life is a little bit of wrong and a little bit of right. So
that's right.
Bring whatever it is. Anyway, so today, this episode is kind of good. It's going to be a lot of work overall, just because we want to present certain things factually and separate opinion and try to really do it right, but not be hyper edited either. Like we're not a pure podcast, but we're not a hyper edited show.
Exactly.
So today, Twiztid. 25 years.
Oh, man.
25 years, and what is their legacy?
Yep.
What is their 25 years legacy as Twiztid, and I guess House of Krazees before, but what is their legacy? It contains, I think, out the gate, both you and I would say good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
And just to be clear with our audience, this is not intended to be a biography about Twiztid.
Right, it's not going to be a deep, comprehensive dive.
We're not going to cover every single one of their albums and what's all of their best songs. I've been around for almost 20 years, calling myself a juggalo.
Long time.
Yeah, my man is old school in nature and been around here for about four years, I guess.
Yeah.
About, yeah.
4.5.
Yeah, going on 5. And has his own interesting perspective, and so just understand this isn't meant to be their biography,
right?
And everything about them. We're just gonna present it the way we see fit. Yep. So with that said, let's get started. What are Twiztid? They go back to Detroit, like ICP, like Eminem, D12. They started as a trio called House of Krazees.
That's right. With
the ROC.
Yeah.
So you had Paul Method, Jamie, and the ROC.
Yep.
Also known as Hectic, Mr. Bones, and then the ROC.
Yeah.
So with Twiztid, they go all the way back to, obviously, the Detroit area.
Right.
Like ICP, Eminem, the fellas from D12, Isham, Nodis.
Right.
A lot of the fixtures that a lot of, juggalos love, and all the way to the mainstream, absolute tip top, right?
Yep.
And their early stuff as House of Krazees, having a third member in the ROC.
Right.
Just so happened to be black, but there were, I feel like House of Krazees was more dynamic but so underpolished compared to and that's part of being in the music game for years and years is you just get better at your polish, and I feel like if House of Krazees had stayed together all the same, they would have been just as good or better all the same. But as we know, going back to that time, the ROC left the group.
Yep.
Here's a little bit of I think just to kind of intro them. Let's hit them with a couple tracks.
Yeah.
How about Season of the Pumpkin, and what do we say? Season of the Pumpkin and Head Trauma.
Yep, and Head Trauma. That was the other one.
Check out a couple House of Krazees tracks before we now get in further into this video. Just a little taste of their beginning. 94 and 96, I believe, is what we have here.
Yep.
House of Krazees.
Bam.
Season of the Pumpkin, Hell Night, or Hallows Eve. I'm stepping on the scene, giving motherfuckers the grease. Peep, motherfucker, I got a sacrificial killing for the spirits that roam the earth. Now that's chillin', Yup, I gotta do what I gotta do. I kill another one, the hills ran red with the bloodier crew. Step one, put the burn body of ashes in a rotten pumpkin. While you're chanting, step two, the hot flashes run straight to your head. As you feel the pressure of the earth, sitting amongst the dead, away from life and far behind death. This is a test.
This is a test of the National Broadcasting Association of America. This is only a test.
Who all did I see? What all did I find? Who all got killed? Who all got left behind? These thoughts keep roaming through my dome. That's why they about to send Mr. Bones home sweet home.
October 31st is my date of birth.
Fucking around and get you chopped up quick, no bullshit. I'm laying you dead hoes and graves, just spare me quick, I gotta go. I got these people rocking under my soul, I'm out of control like a freight train. About to fuck you on up. Truth being a nut ain't easy, but what the fuck? The Psych boy won't help me out. I tell him again and again what I'm about. Instead I choose something. Word to the motherfucker, man. I'm undercover like the Ray-Ban. Better get some shit together, I'm hunting heads like a donut from bitches, sending people home to naked. Ain't no escaping from the fist. You get caught flat, you hit. I'm out the back of your mind trick, forget. Windows closed, I'm open. I'm watching my head spin around in slow motion. Slowly coasting, chill down for drama. Leaving you comatose for us with hair trauma. Fill up with water.
So yeah, you can hear their early stuff has so much to offer, but it's so also 90s and B-room at the disc in Detroit style.
Yeah.
You know, meaning absolutely no polish, it's rough.
Right, yeah,
but there's a lot to be had there.
Absolutely.
And I think this is where kind of ICP comes into the equation. They heard that.
Yep.
They did some shows together stuff. I know they went on tour with ICP early around Malenko era.
Yep.
And before we get into how they turn into Twiztid, I guess why don't we just let Jay say a little bit of that for himself here. Here's a couple excerpts from Behind the Paint that we think are noteworthy, then we'll come back to you.
Just before the new tour started, I got an unexpected phone call from our homies, Jamie and Paul. They called me at home. Right away, I could tell Jamie was serious as fuck. He's never serious about anything, so when he wasn't playing around, I knew it right away. Bro, after all that shit happened, we did one more show with Brian here in Detroit, and that was it. We quit the group, man. Jamie said, can you help us out? There's no more House of Krazees, man. It's just now me and Paul. You know, can you hook us up? Can we, get together and do something? I was like, yeah, man, we'll hook you up. You know we'll do you up. Little did I know how much my quick decision would go on to affect the future of Psychopathic Records, the Wicked Shit, and the Juggalo world. You guys are the tighter rappers in the group anyway, I explained. We got together with them and they gave me a demo of 3 songs they had already made. Secondhand Smoke, Die Motherfucker Die, and How Does It Feel? I was sold instantly when I heard it. We sat up at our office in Novi and tried to come up with a name for the new group. It's just 2 of you guys now. What should we call you guys, I asked. They had an idea. They wanted to call themselves ISI, which would stand for Infamous Superstars Incorporated. I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't understand what the fuck it meant. It was some kind of comic bookish twist on an idea that they had come up with. I wanted it to be more ruthless though, and straight to the point. Twiztid Deranged. Twiztid Deranged, how about that? Then I finally just suggested Twiztid. How about just Twiztid? Twiztid. Once we came up with that, it set in deep. It fit like a horny prisoner's dick into Kim Kardashian's ass.
Well, Jay's word
from the Duke himself.
From
our
the
little
man.
Duke here.
Yes.
Our little Duke of the Wicked here. And you know, if we have anything to say that is negative about Twiztid, of course, it's only because we worship Violent J. Right?
Right.
No, this is going to be comprehensive. No, take it away. We're coming back from what Jay just said about that meeting and how they ended up on board and really turning into Twiztid.
Exactly. And what I thought was so interesting about that was the fact on how, they went from, their band broke up, House of Krazees, and then they had to kind of segue into Twiztid and how they kind of had to really get to be accepted by the Juggalos.
Well, and they as Jay goes on to talk about in his book and stuff, and they've talked about as well, they tried so many gimmicks, right? They had different masks.
Yeah.
Different, I mean, they had like 101 gimmix before. Yeah. And same with names. Like, they had that stupid ISI or whatever.
Superstar.
Infamous Superstars Incorporated. Something
something like that. Something like that.
There. But, no, they really went on to, as you get to Most Tasteless, was successful underground, and they really got booed a lot on stage. Juggalos felt like, we don't need an ICP 2.0 or a JV, like a junior varsity ICP. And that really was the I can tell you, going back to, I would say, in my time, so 20 years, going back to about 02, 03, that's when they were starting to get really big movement and acceptance. I remember talking to Juggalos like, man, just 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of people fucking hated them. I was like, what? Are you... Twiztid is the motherfucking shit. Like, but in hindsight, I think back to it, god damn, I can't imagine trying to sell a new act to... Because then Juggalos were just ICP fans. You know, really, like, at that time. I mean, they liked other music, but that was their... the psychopathic identity. It wasn't a label. It was the clowns that run beneath the streets.
Exactly.
Not a label. But no, you were saying.
Yeah, I was kind of going back to that, just, again, for that time era, people really having to, like,
again, we're talking the late 90s here.
Yeah, the late 90s, especially for the late 90s, Juggalos having to accept them, and Twiztid having to work almost so much harder to really get to be accepted after, the initial Most Tasteless, doing fairly alright at first, but not really fully accepted. And then them kind of having to make that other version with the remakes of tracks. Yeah, well, and that you have some tracks that are remixed or redone, really. Right. From the House of Krazees days. And then they added it, like, you have $85 an hour. Yeah. And so, let's just give them a little taste, though, of that early Most Tasteless, the CD. Yeah. As they say. Let's get, what do we have here? Secondhand Smoke. How about some Secondhand Smoke? And we're going to give you a little $85 an hour, too. I just want to do 2 from this one, because I do love this album a lot. So this Twiztid's journey has been interesting. This is just the beginning. Hit him with a little bit of it. We'll be right back.
I represent the east side, no peace. Fuck the police. We tell you to increase the disease, at least. A grown man telling you something that he believes. Practice to deceive, no more tricks up my sleeve. What the fuck, bitch? Bitch, why you talking shit? Better duck, bitch, before you don't get hit. This shit is twisted, deeper than that old French braid. Sticky at the jam and jelly face. Everybody else still talking about something. What you thought you heard, bitch? Get it, cause you're frontin'. Dead wrong, dinner table conversations. Leaving you pistol whipped in the corner with abrasions. Part of the contamination of my state. Sleeping the dream, hoping it's going on awake. Mama think I'm a play on fake stereo killer. Bottom of my mind like Godzilla. We survive like caterpillars and cocoons and caskets. Stretch the industry like elastic. So fantastic, like the Newport cigarette that I smoke. Hit the motherfucker till I choke. I brag and I boast. Chilling at the studio. Chilling at the studio, $85 an hour. So hurry up and loop a beat, Mike. Come on. I'm Violent J, but my homies call me shithead. But that's my homies. To you, I'm Violent J, bitch. I put my boys on a track even though they suck. Yo, dog, I'm Dave. I don't give a fuck. I did a record deal. I signed a contract. Technically, for Island, I can only rap. But fuck that, with Twiztid, I'ma still spit. Even though I got a cold, then I sound like shit. What the fuck was that? Fuck it, leave it in. The shit is fat. You heard this beat 80 times, I'ma still freak it. And if you notice, my shit don't even rhyme. Look at that. I ain't even got a rap and it's still fat. My shit went gold. I got fat knots. And you're still flyer in parking lots. You might say my vocals are up too loud. So I'ma turn them up loud and I'll piss you off. Psychopathic Records are geniuses. Get off our penises. Why? Here comes the chorus. But I got no hook. Instead I'll just fuck with the phone book.
So there you go. The album that was so great, they released it twice. Kind of flopped it first, but then succeeded on its back end so much so that they made it again with added tracks, remakes from some of their HOK songs.
Right.
And most Tasteless today, if you ask any Juggalo that I can think of, even if they hate Twiztid to their core, which I could understand.
Yeah.
You know, like, it comes down to, remember, separating artist from art, and then where is that line drawn?
Exactly.
And we're each going to have our opinions, but we want to give them their props where it's fucking due.
Right, absolutely.
They do, Twiztid does deserve their artistic credit, you know? And sure did they sure did have one hell of a push and help from ICP, legging every night for them.
Yeah.
Taking them on every interview, going to Europe. I mean, they were taking guys that were a broken up band over to Europe and putting them on shows. So they were immensely helpful and helpful to each other, because Twiztid helped take Psychopathic from ICP's idea of a record label that was really under Hollywood or Island, like with AJB, the Jackal Brothers, to, hey, we're starting to have a fucking powerhouse here.
Exactly.
In the beginning of what we call the family era. And that leads us to Freak Show.
Yeah.
Again, we're not going to go over every album. We just can't. We got to keep this video to what it is. But this is... Freak Show came out on the same day, if I recall, as Bizarre Bizarre.
Yeah.
ICP, which was kind of a mistake in a financial sense, because most Juggalos are poor.
Yeah.
Whether 2022 or... I mean, we're all older now, so some of that's changed.
Yeah.
But back in 2000, even if they weren't poor, they were going to lick one of them anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, it's really awesome. Here's where we start to get to what I would say is our first left turn with Twiztid, but only understood later in hindsight. What I mean by that is we're about to play the song "We Don't Die."
Yeah.
And a lot of we'll play a portion of it that says some of their claims and how they feel about Juggalo family, and all of what it all means to them. But no matter what road we may go down, we do encourage you to hear us out. And this track is straight fire.
Oh my god, yeah.
Then and now. It's just little not as fun to listen to now, but boy is it nostalgic.
Yeah, it very much is.
And the video is fucking ill.
Yeah.
They went in on that video.
Yes, they did. Very well done.
We don't die, axe murderers. Yeah. We don't die.
We get high. We don't die. Up out of the ground, from the underground tunnel I dug to keep away from the mainstream love. I just want somebody to move and get hurt. Got your whole dug deep in the dirt. Can't work with you bitch motherfuckers making love to the puss with a bitch name tatted on your chest. Me and motherfucking Mad Rocks, haunting the joint, bringing death to the people that don't get the point. We don't die. Just like a $7 bill. Voice my opinion regardless of how you feel. Free shit. It ain't about being rich. It's about juggalos and running with lunatics. As long as y'all rock this, we won't quit. We do it all for y'all. I mean that shit. Every one of y'all means everything to me. We bleed for y'all. That's why we call it family. As for the buzz, we don't die. Serial killers, we don't die. Freaks of the night, we don't die. We get high, we don't die.
Ooh, that We Don't Die.
We don't die.
What a classic, man.
It really, and I gotta tell you, that shit, like, it pounded year after year after year. I mean, you couldn't go to a gathering for a decade.
Right.
Plus. A decade plus. Like, the first gathering.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably still hear it at the gathering.
Oh,
right?
Sure. Yeah.
It was, like, probably one of, other than Chicken Hunting, I would say the first fucking anthem.
Yeah,
like it really was. It really. I mean, there was other. I mean, things from the Great Malenko, Jackal Brothers, that were Juggalo and Fuck the World, for example.
Yeah.
But no, Twiztid, when they hit with Freak Show and We Don't Die, they now had an anthem.
Yeah.
And were big cheese. Yeah. And starting to get involved with other artists because of ICP and the Juggalo family, more importantly. But where do we end up next after Freak Show?
Man, after Freak Show, we start to really dip into Psychopathic Records and Dark Lotus. We start to dip more into that.
That's right. So, Violent J's, I think, if you were to ask Juggalos overall, his greatest idea ever, they would say Dark Lotus.
Yeah.
I think that would be the general consensus, and I wouldn't disagree with it either. Mm-hmm. And same with how Riders came to be. And if you're not familiar with Psychopathic Riders, it's ICP under different aliases.
Yeah.
And Twiztid under different aliases.
Yeah.
And Blaze under a different alias. Mm-hmm. And depending on the album, you have Boondocks, ABK, Misery, a couple others. But the first one, Dumpin', which is an awesome green album cover. Here, it's gonna fit with us perfectly. Dumping on your bitch ass. The idea was taking mainstream beats and making gangsta shit.
Hell yeah.
That was better than the original song on the beat in the mainstream. Yeah. And it was just, I think, just an idea, and it just worked so well. Like, I mean, I got a hard copy of Dumpin'.
You got me a hard copy very recently.
It got that sparkly on the front.
Yeah, it's very sparkly.
Everything about it's cool, you know? And they even created a sub-label, Joe and Joey Records.
Yeah. In
case they got sued. But no, I mean, they start to really evolve together. ICP and Twiztid, they work so hard to sell them to the Juggalos, and once they finally really got them, especially, I would say, I think Freak Show is the one that really, like, you know, got them, got us.
Oh, absolutely.
Got us. Okay, you're on our team.
Yeah.
You're welcome here. You know, the way like Chapter 17 is, for example, today. Interesting. We'll get into that later. Some different approaches in this game.
Yeah.
But no, that's not to be ignored. Dark Lotus and Riders.
Yep.
Let's hit them with a Dark Lotus jam here. I'm gonna pick, as I'm going here. You know what? I think it would only be fitting to play them. Let's play them a little bit of Juggalo Family.
Yeah.
From Tales from Lotus Pod.
Very good song.
And then things are gonna start to get more interesting from here. But Dark Lotus.
Psychopathic, that's the way it goes.
So many people in the matrix, I alone, hey. Not me, my soul belongs to Juggalos, they keep me going when I'm down and out. I pick the phone up, drop them a line, and hear them shout, saying Twiztid is the shit, and I'm down with the clown. Dark Lotus for life, until I'm dead in the ground. I give a dap to all my homies and killers who get it started. All my Juggalos always represent for the departed. Yeah.
Mass murder makes me happy.
Dead bodies make me happy until eternity.
I'll always have Juggalo family.
Mass murder makes me happy.
Dead bodies make me happy until eternity.
I'll always have Juggalo family.
So that song to this day, like, it makes me so happy. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been down and out, if you will, and that shit has legitimately helped me. And it's kind of like that, like, reminder, like, man, Juggalo is not a phase. It's not a It's not that kind of a scene mall emo subculture. Juggalo is It's somewhere like really like on our chests, and why we rep it that way, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know, like it really is that way, and they embodied that. As I remember, they became by the mid 2000s. So I want, like, let's say by Man's Myth, boom, right here.
Yeah.
So like 05, and then Mutant, boom, right here, and then by Independence Day, which came out just a day or two before my 18th birthday, while I was on the road with my dad and best friend at the time for my 18th birthday trip to Colorado, of all places. We got it at a record store in Denver. Independence Day. Bam. They put out a lot of fantastic music under the name Twiztid.
Hell yeah.
And the stuff they were doing with ICP and for the Hatchet. I mean, the family era is so hard to describe to a young Juggalo in particular. Yeah. But even a person like you who's you've been around for this whole thing, but you haven't been a Juggalo, like, immersed in that culture for it. So you're like half and half, you know? Like, you're old school, but you've been identifying as a Juggalo for only, 4 years versus 40, right? So the thing I think of is, like, how hard, it's just so hard to describe that to people, what that was like. I know a lot of people watching this will feel that too, like, what it was like to go to the Psychopathic All-Stars tour.
Man.
And just all these various tours. And, I mean, dude, they were hitting the Quest and First Avenue here in Minneapolis, and then the Myth, like, every 3-4... One of them would be in town every 3-4 months.
Wow.
You know, just, like, yeah, you had something to do, you know, you had something to look forward to all the time.
Yeah.
A show. As far as Psychopathic, a Blaze tour, I mean, always something dope.
Damn.
And yeah, it was special. So where we are with Independence Day, I think that's 08, I believe.
07.
Oh, excuse me, 07. Yeah, that's right. When I turned 18, after I graduated high school. So I think the thing to point out here, which really is worth notation, is a certain someone has their last verse ever.
That's right.
On an album recorded on here, and that person is
Proof, the legendary Proof
of D12.
Yes.
So we have Proof's last verse, and I think that out of respect of Detroit music and and being in the positive territory still,
absolutely,
I think we should give a salute to Proof. What was the song name? I forget the name.
That's How I Live.
That's how I live. Hit it.
That's how I live, how I live. Tinted windows on SUVs I'm smoking. Purchased from grandma and words spoken. A hustler, I was born and raised with the knowledge that you gotta do what you gotta to get paid. Game, respect, game. I see you on the grind. Say hard, say passion is mine. 3 of a kind. It's Twiztid and your boy Proof from the Dirty Dozen. This shit was destined to happen. Don't ever say it wasn't.
Please believe it. We sit and rethink it. Spit flames to throw your mind and read it. Repeat it. Slim knob, a kind swifty, me easy. And that cool, it's D-Tweezy Twiztid. We bees the misfits, keep squeezing biscuits. Street clean the district, this means restricted. Family 9, amity time. You cross one of them, you cross me, I'm laying you down.
That's how I live, running on the streets and we live. That's how I live, trying to take as much as I give. That's how I live, planting bad seeds in your kid. That's how I live, don't be acting like you know who this is. That's how I live.
How I Live. Man, you
R.I.P. Proof.
R.I.P. Proof. First and foremost, R.I.P. Proof.
Yeah.
That verse, Proof's last verse on How I Live. If you're gonna go out with a verse, that's gonna be your last verse. It's great that it's one that shouts out so many, but it's done in such an A-grade manner.
Well, and Proof what was he known for best? Being a hip-hop student, right?
Exactly.
And also professor at the same time.
Yeah.
And he gives shouts out to guys like Necro, who deserves it on a hip-hop level, a personal level, I don't know about that. He's kind of a fucking dick. But no, shout out Necro, what's up, buddy? But no, it really is like, I think they had just, it wasn't even ICP that was, they were like a launching pad for them, no doubt, and they had to grind for them to even get any attention.
Yeah. Like
we pointed out, and Jay pointed out, they got hated a lot at first.
Yeah.
But at this point in their career, so we're at like 2007, they're really like, to me, they're peaking, or not even peaking, but they're just all up. It was all up there. And then we get to, we have Wicked, Wish I Could Kill Every Day in 2010. And then we get to, not to skip Wicked because it's such a great album, but we do got to keep moving.
Yep.
So, Abominations, 2012. Give me more, Bryce.
Woo, man. So, I think you can agree with me. Abominations was a great album, but of course, had some hiccups along the way. And of course,
in its release.
Yeah, in its release. And
also probably the last era where Juggalos were lining up to buy physical copies, and Magic Gear still existed.
Exactly.
Go on.
And on top of that, this is the last album we get from them on Psychopathic.
Yeah. And well, at least as far as Twiztid.
Yeah, as far as Twiztid.
Because eventually we got the next Riotous album, I think, shortly after, and then eventually the joint venture with the 2014 Lotus. But, as far as Twiztid on Psychopathic, Abominations is it.
Right.
And as we know, and we'll show Jay talking about it a little bit.
Now listen,
open book.
This is the deal.
What you need to know.
This is the deal. When Twiztid was with Psychopathic, did we ever make mistakes?
Fuck yeah, we did, man. We made huge mistakes. We fucked up a lot. You know, maybe 5 major times probably in the 16 years they were with us. You know, I remember one time that they put out an album, we didn't order enough, and they wanted to chart. You know what I mean? And it sold out, and we didn't order enough. I don't know what the deal was behind that, if we didn't have the fucking funds or what, but maybe we just underestimated it. I don't know, but it was a huge mistake, and they took great disdain for that. You know what I mean? And who knows what else they did, because they've never told us. You understand?
Part of they say it was just a problem, like one of many problems, but I think it was just the thing that made Twiztid, like the straw that broke the camel's back, but in the sense of Twiztid wanted a reason to not be in their shadow anymore, and now they can say, our famous, the one we like to go to with people like this, fuck you, Dad.
Fuck you, Dad.
You didn't order enough copies of my CD so we could chart on Billboard. And like, it's a fair reason to be upset.
Yeah,
like,
it's fair.
If you're signed to a label and 100,000 people want to buy your CD, and some of the pre-order people aren't getting it until 2 weeks later, which did happen with this album.
Yeah.
I remember. That's a legit reason to be upset with your record label and say, hey, like, we need to fucking talk.
Exactly.
But they used it like this. From that moment on, I remember when they left, it was like, there was this like calm. And it was such a big deal because, I mean, remember, as we've shown in a few of the songs they played, they scream Juggalo, We Won't Die, The Hatchet.
Exactly, they're all about it.
And, but before we transition here, we do want to give them, because Abominations is a fantastic record that I would recommend to anybody. I'm going to pick a track here. I got one for you. Here's a little bit of Abominations, then we move on.
On doesn't turn to shreds, but why, oh why does he persist to hide when they insist he try to come outside from the shell he lives inside? Now he's been hypnotized, and despite the lies he sits and waits to die, cause he can't find no words to explain the rain. All his emotions are transformed and now become pain. He's alive in a black hole, empty in space, and he sits in front of the mirror and he's face to face with the sadness, confusion, his patience he's losing. He's substance abused and he's one with the music, and he needs a little something to dial it all back, cause he's running in a race but he's not on track. Love don't live here anymore. It's been cold since you went away. No, I've been trying to get myself together. Is there something I can say that'll make it stay? Love don't live here anymore. It's been cold since you went away. I've been trying to get my head together, but things just don't seem to go my way.
That I couldn't ignore that song. Love don't live here anymore. It's been cold since you went away. Kind of ironic because then they, I guess, popped their proverbial patience nut with ICP and Psychopathic.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
They left, and like you said, there's a calm after, and people were like, "What the fuck?" And it's peculiar to me, and I remember feeling this way at the time. I didn't so much care that they left Psychopathic. I was like, oh man, that's lame. Like, that they left, but like, they're still doing music. They're still juggalos. Like, like it. To be honest, and I want to say this to all Twizzlers out there, Twiztid fans out there, Magic Ninja folks. Dude, no one has really given a fuck that Twiztid left Psychopathic as a reason to be upset at them in basically the 10 years since it's happened.
Right.
I remember being like a little confused about it, and then Rob and Joe both posted statements like everyone's got to move on and do this. Like, it was a very just an adult thing, and then their music initially out the gate was very similar. We had a New Nightmare in 2013, as they called it. Ironic, right here. And then I think that's when Twiztid started to reveal a little bit more who they were as people.
Yeah.
And I'll get more to the specifics in that in a bit, but let's just stick to the music. Like, listen to... Well, how do you feel about their music after the turn? I mean, or after they, the term turncoats. Sorry, they really are Benedict Arnolds, and you'll see why. But no, really, just I mean, like their later music that you have heard, like comparatively.
So,
your thoughts?
The few songs you've shown me throughout the years of their newer stuff, compared to We Don't Die and great songs like for Freak Show and Independence Day, it lacks a lot of creativity in my opinion. I personally, I don't like it. I think it sucks.
I think a lot of it, especially when they get, I appreciate artists that go into the rock stuff.
Like, as do I.
There's been a lot of hip hop artists that have actually like done that. I mean, ICP just had 80s rock ballad, but guess what they named that song? 80s rock ballad.
Exactly.
They made it like the joke is the joke.
Yeah.
Right? But no, these guys, they came out with that one record. I don't even know, I can't even remember its title, but it's their new logo. Here, we'll show it on the screen here.
There's a suffering that's driving you mad. You hate the way they have what you never had. Something bigger, better out of your class. You can taste it off the tip of your tongue. What it's like to be the favorite son. But there's no telling what you do to become the ones you are. Say what you want. The jealousy's absolute. You've already got the course digging into you. Oh, does it green like the sickness you feed? The green never leaves, it just lies into seas. You want what they got, but like it or not, believe me, they said me, it's gonna be the end of you.
That record, they get together with Ice Nine Kills shortly after, which is hard rock. To me, it comes off like Twiztid is trying, before MGK did what MGK does.
Yeah.
Twiztid was like we're the more solidified, angrier version, and Paul went with the ski masks and stuff like that. And then I guess we get kind of towards the March, which is 2017.
Yep.
And let us give you some of Jay's thoughts on that first, and then we'll give you some of ours again. So here's some of Jay's thoughts first, and we don't worship anybody's opinion as gospel.
Exactly.
We're just throwing in things we consider fact because we believe this man is being genuine.
That's right.
Here, and I remember it well. Every tweet, here we go. Jay talking about it a little bit, then back to us.
So I reworded the entire. I wrote him a big, huge thing on text, and I was like, "Look, the reality is, unfortunately, the same people that support our shit support your shit. You know what I'm saying? The same people, and I think we both realize that the reality is, if you guys don't play the march, you're probably gonna catch heat. You're probably gonna catch a lot of people like, why the fuck ain't you playing the march? You know what I'm saying?" And I was like, "I'm sorry that it happens to be like that, but you know, this is reality. This is the situation we're dealt, and you know, we're doing. And you not wanting to play the march is not enough reason for us not to do the march. You see what I'm saying? Like, in other words, we're doing the march. Like, you're going to catch heat.
Right. We're doing the shit.
We're doing the shit with or without you. We're doing the shit, and that's the reality. So we hope you'll consider playing it. That's the reality."
Well, that was interesting to hear thoughts from
the Duke
himself, Jay. I thought that was pretty interesting the way he was able to kind of put it about how he felt about Twiztid not doing the march.
You could tell it really bothered it, like something that has a huge weight on him.
Right.
I'm not, and again, we want to be clear to people, we're not saying Joe and Joey are perfect.
Exactly.
That everything they say is perfectly right as rain.
Right.
And everything. But there is a distinct pattern
of
behavior. And you can tell they're speaking, if you don't want to call it truth, that's alright. Because there's certain things that can't be proven by anybody.
Right.
But it certainly comes off as genuine.
Yep.
That's the word I'd use.
Absolutely.
So, Twiztid doesn't want to do the march. It's what we're kind of flashing back and forth here. Because at the same time, Twiztid did an interview on a much smaller podcast, not Fago Lovers, baby.
Yeah, no, not
Shout out
Fago.
to Scotty D, by the way. I bought I bought one of the Monster Live 5 coins from him personally. So shout out to Scotty D, man.
Yeah.
Going back to when I was a kid, man, that dude's been grinding when he was a kid.
Fuck
so
yeah.
shout out to Scotty D. But here's Twiztid on just a short clip.
They were on, Rude Jude on the All Out show on Shade 45 about 3 years ago.
Oh my god, of course. Sideways show on Shade.
Yeah.
No, it's even embarrassing to listen to. But no, we're going to play a little bit of their, I guess, thoughts and return to you. So here's Twiztid on their feelings about the march.
It became a political stance. It
Right.
became a political stance with them to act on something, and we had a difference of opinions. And
how so?
They wanted to sue the FBI. They wanted to. They wanted to go and march on Washington over this issue. And
supposedly the Juggalo, not supposedly, the Juggalos, which are the people that made us who we are, the people that we represent day in and day out,
absolutely,
were assessed by the FBI because people were getting arrested and they kept seeing Hatchet Man all over the place because that shit was everywhere. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? Is this some crazy gang? So they assessed it. The next year they came out, they're like, no, you guys are not a gang. No more on the list, right? So these years go by. And all of a sudden, dude has this idea about going down to the FBI and marching and telling all the kids we're doing it because they labeled us a gang. And it ain't fucking true. The whole march was for the information as to why the whole thing was assessed as a gang. We're not a gang. We ain't assessed as one. It was a big manipulation. And me and my man stood our fucking ground.
Real talk.
We didn't buckle.
Because we didn't make up excuses either.
We walked away from everything, Jude, to stand behind what we fucking believe.
What kind of blowback did you get? Because the Juggalos are very.
They are.
We know. We made them motherfuckers just like they did.
The blowback was more or less.
Mom and dad are fighting.
Mom and dad are fighting, so to speak, and the children are up in the divorce hearings, and it's like, and it's one of these situations where
we're like, we are not about to just go drag these dudes through the mud.
For sure,
it
ain't about being malicious and all that.
Alright, so now this is where the tone of the video is gonna fucking change, Twizzlers. I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, as we just heard there, Twiztid, how they felt about the march was that it was a complete publicity stunt. I mean, first of all, of course you want publicity on something that is a march on Washington. He also miscategorizes the situation with the FBI. There were hundreds of, if not thousands of Juggalos directly affected by it.
Exactly.
And as Jay said, what it was about was, yeah, there's not much we can do about it. They did try.
Right.
But it was about saying, fuck you, we're not cool with it.
Exactly.
Which, Jay, that's what it was about.
Right.
And I think what it comes down to, and Twizzlers won't like this, many people won't, but everything you look at Twiztid, what they do is they hate living in the shadow of ICP. Yet all the people signed to their label are former psychopathic artists.
Exactly.
That eventually couldn't hold their salt. If you look at what they do musically, instead of Dark Lotus, they came out with Lotus. Here's a cover of that. Yeah, seriously. Imagine instead of 2 Live Crew, just the Crew. You know? Or instead of Public Enemy, just Enemies. You know, like, it's so, I'm sorry, it's just so fucking whack. And same with Riders. Boom. Not Psychopathic Riders. Yeah, fuck is that? Float away. It's just so corny. So, like, you hate this guy, Joe, Violent J, Joe Bruce, so much, and yet you copy everything you ever had success with him doing. That was his idea.
Right.
And this idea that the march had no importance and it was a pure publicity stunt. There's no tickets to the march.
Right, there weren't any at all.
People had to spend a lot of money on a hotel, Uber or whatever, all that stuff just to even be there.
Right.
And the fact that a few thousand showed up was amazing.
Exactly.
And it was all about just saying we're not cool with it.
Right, and to go off, thank you, to go off that, I think it's really the first, like, big piece of offensive bullshit from Twiztid. Like, obviously, you know what the march stands for. You clearly know the importance. It's not like it came out of thin air, contrary to what they said in that clip we just played for the people. Like, you don't want to be there for the Juggalos who helped make you and help be fucking down?
In the same breath, he said the people who made us, right?
Yeah, in the same breath. So it really boggles my mind that they can't show up for something this fucking important for the people that made them, and then you're gonna go try to spin ideas from the guy who helped make you, like,
and shit on the head of the guys who largely are considered the representatives of Juggalos.
Right?
I mean, no matter, there's no logic to it.
None at all.
I can find. It's pure. It's like Jay said in a lot of that Fago Lovers interview with Scotty D.
Yeah.
They just fucking hate us.
Right.
Like, and I gotta say, I've had some friendships go sour that are pretty similar, and it's amazing, like, what people will turn that has like maybe a gram or an ounce of truth into like 500 pounds of bullshit.
Exactly.
And Twiztid has done that throughout, I would say, after the Mud, Water, Air, and Blood by Dark Lotus, album cover here, which was their last project together when they shared the stage. I guess last time they shared the stage was Wizard of the Hood 17. And that's where we had... So it's been 5 years of hard divide.
Yeah.
Diss songs.
Yeah.
Twiztid likes to do subliminals because they're passive aggressive.
Of course.
And then Violent J comes out with 6 foot, 7 foot. He's a lot more the type to slap his dick in your face if he's going to do so. I mean, listen to Please Don't Hate Me, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, as we get on with Twiztid and their legacy, right? Like, here's what we have next, and it's not all about the march. There's a lot of things, and we're not going to go into all of them, but just because this helps. The point is that they're hypocrites, and you and I hate hypocrisy. I think that's the most fair. Yeah. Like, if we're making a statement, is fuck hypocrisy.
Fuck it.
Especially around family.
Yes.
Especially around this shit right here.
Yep.
You know, for life and all their claims over the years. It just what we go into is here's Paul Metric. Monoxide in 2020, I believe.
2020.
Apologizing for not being at the march. And just a little bit of what he had to say, because honestly, it's painful. I wouldn't want you to watch the whole thing. But if you want to, there'll of course be a link to it. Here's Paul now walking that back harder than anyone has ever walked anything back ever. And then we're going to continue because there's more before we wrap this up. What is 25 years of Twiztid? What's it really worth?
Right.
We'll be back.
Mad at us or shit. I know a lot of that shit stems from the march. And like, real shit at this point, just reflecting on it, at the end of the day, and this is just me, this isn't anybody else, I shouldn't even be talking about no shit like this, but I think in 2020, as hindsight, we should have been there for nothing else but for you, regardless of what it was. It was something that you guys wanted us to be there, and we let all this other shit get in the way of whatever the fuck it is. And at the end of the day, we fucking let you down because we should have seen through it and just been there. And I apologized from Paul Metric to every one of you that felt a certain way about that. You know what I mean? No bullshit. I said I would never talk about it again, but it's just been on my mind lately. And I just want to say that. For whatever it was, it doesn't matter. You guys wanted us there. You needed us there. And we let whatever interfere with that. And I apologize. I apologize for that. It took a while maybe for me to see what that was, but I do. And we can move past it.
So, Paul Metric, with his apology, 2020 hindsight.
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, why are you smoking the side of the
I
joint?
noticed that too. Like, why the side?
The hole is what the. You would think Mr. Secondhand Smoke would have rolling down.
Exactly.
But no, I'm just being petty for a second. Instead of being Tom Petty, I'm gonna be Tom Reasonable for a moment. No, really, it's just the hypocrisy, and people think, oh, that's just the march, that's just one thing, and the truth is we're not here to make a 5-hour video of every single contradiction and hypocrisy moment they've had.
Right.
It'd be too exhausting. The point is that I think people need to be aware of this.
Very.
At least on a fair level. You know, there's plenty of people are aware that X hates Twiztid, Y hates ICP, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But I think a lot of Twiztid fans, there I'm watching my language, Magic Ninja folks don't quite understand. They think it's just about leaving a label or something like
and it's
that.
not that simple.
And that's before getting into 100. There's so many things.
Yeah.
We're just trying to stick to what their actual legacy is.
Exactly.
So before we get into that, though, real quick, it's a little bit funny. Shaggy's response, and then I think we'll wrap up. What is 25 years of Twiztid?
25 years.
What is it?
What does it mean?
Saturday Monoxide publicly apologizing for not playing the march 5 years after it happened. What do you want from me? Yeah.
Oh man, already then.
Yeah, for what it's worth.
For what it's worth.
So, just a little good humor for you. The tiniest man.
Yeah.
I love how he just goes, like he's gonna say something and just like a 5-year fart. Like, just, nah. Well, look, I think I think you were gonna point out something there. Why don't you go ahead and take that away, though?
Yeah. So, kind of like we were talking about a little bit earlier on in the video, it's interesting the kind of dramatic change that Twiztid made.
Well, and I think Twiztid fans, like we've noticed, they say that about ICP's music.
Right.
ICP, it's nothing like the first deck.
It's not like the first six. It's not like
the first
Jekyll Brothers. It's not like Riddlebox.
It's not like Ringmaster, which was 25 bucks.
It's not like Malenko.
Yeah, and we get that music has to evolve and you have to try different things. With Twiztid, though, I feel like they didn't just pull an MGK and like leave rap for a while.
Right.
Like they said, "Fuck y'all niggas" to Juggalos.
Yeah.
Like so hard.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember when they did the Most Tasteless reunion tour, which was right after some of these videos.
Right.
Jay had mentioned in the Fago Lovers thing that at first they didn't wear paint, and I had helped them come up with that idea. So then they go out on tour just months after that Fago Lovers interview, and they say we're not wearing paint for the Most Tasteless reunion. It just like,
oh my god,
you let this guy rule your life, and yet bag him so hard.
Exactly.
Like he just honestly, when I listen to Lil Wayne talk about Baby and how hard Baby fucked him out of money, like you would think Twiztid acts like they literally had their anal virginity taken. I ain't gonna apologize for saying that. They act like drama queens.
Yeah, they do.
Their fans act just like them. But listen up, Twiztid fans, Twizzlers. You are the equivalent of Dallas Cowboy fans. Did I stutter?
My brother's gonna love that. But no, I see exactly what you mean. Like,
well, honestly, to your brother, he only thing he should do is slap and maybe tickle himself, because he's the most fair cowboy fan I ever met in my life. I feel sorry for him that he has to deal with delusional people around. He gets to root for whatever team he wants.
Of course.
Just like the Twiztid fan, if you like their
if you
stuff.
want to listen to them,
Dude, yeah, but ultimately, there's a difference between evolving and a music that's still slapping and hitting on some angle of your fan base. I guess Twiztid is still doing that, but here's a major thing you and I have noticed. Whether it be in Psychopathic Museum, Wicked Cellar, any of the Juggalo groups.
Yeah.
Dude, You buy a Twiztid jersey for $150.
Yep.
$20 shipping, maybe $10, whatever. Good luck selling that the very next day for $80.
Yeah. As we've seen, it doesn't do too hot.
That's putting it very nicely. And shout out to Chris Fawzi. He'd speak the truth on this, but it just doesn't sell. They want to be everything that ICP is.
Exactly.
They want to be merch kings, jersey kings, charm king. They want to be everything they learned from Joe and Joey, but while saying, fuck you guys are the devil.
Right, like, what sense does that make? Like, you want to take, like I was saying earlier,
all these folks, Joe, Joey, Paul, and Jamie, they're all 50 or almost 50.
Exactly.
By the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And just like I was saying earlier, like, you want to utilize these ideas from a man that you think is a devil and that you hate to smithereens. Like, what sense does that make? You know?
It really is weird. It reminds me of like some like Draco Malfoy shit. Like, I hate Harry Potter. And it's like, well, you hate him because you're not as good as him. You know?
Right.
It's childish.
Yeah.
Is my point. It's literally childish.
Yes. Very childish.
And as to where you have a guy like Ouija Mac.
Yeah.
With Chapter 17, whoop whoop, we are all the pages, baby, has found a way to, the hatchets on his shit. It's family. It's all superpower together. It's all about how you handle things.
Exactly.
I think that's the lesson to take from Twiztid here.
And also to note, as we were saying before filming, the We Don't Die video has a Ouija board in it.
How about that?
And like I was saying before, it's like we had to sacrifice Twiztid to get Ouija.
Hey, dude, you know what? Honestly, those are probably the fairest words I heard in a long time. And that's why I say keep those in your brain.
Yeah.
Because, dude, if we had to sacrifice Twiztid to get Ouija Mac, bye.
Yeah. So long, see you, sucker. Yeah. Don't let the door knob hit you with a good Lord split you.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, bitch.
Yeah, goddamn right. So well worded. So, no, where were we going to leave it off here before we kind of, fully close out?
I mean, really what it comes down to before fully closing it out is, in the case of Twiztid, with other artists, but in the case of Twiztid, is it possible to really separate the art from the artist?
Yeah, and I think that's really what you come down to, right, is separating the art from the artist. Because I know, for me, and I know other Juggalos have experienced this as well, Necro, as a rapper, artist, I fucking almost worship the guy. He's iconic. He's unique. He invented a genre of his own. He's special as a rapper.
Right.
And his style, etc.
Yeah.
As a person, he has the maturity of like a 15-year-old that has a false sense of ego.
Yeah.
He's a fucking douche.
Yeah.
Necro, Ronnie, listen to me. Ronnie, you can't block this. Ronnie, you're a fucking douche. You're a fucking douche. There's a reason Bill is doing better than you. You're a fucking douche. Yep.
You said your own brother's doing better than you.
You want to come slap me in Minnesota? Come on, do it then. So, that's for Ronnie. But no, the point is I'm sorry to get so deep there. But no, it's separating artists it can be hard and it can be easy. I think with Twiztid, what you look at them and you say is they are very talented and capable from a music perspective.
Yeah.
Individuals, and you can't take away 6, 8, 10 albums, especially when you get into Lotus and Riotous, all those combined. Can't take that away from them.
Yeah, not at all.
All that still remains fire.
Yeah.
But as people, you can realize, boy, I'd probably not like to share my blunt with them. If that makes any sense. But, my guy, if that makes any sense. It's just, that I think that's the best way to put it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I just, they're not likable. They're and Jay and Shaggy have their unique things that
of course
probably wouldn't be very likable.
Yeah, they're not perfect either.
We're not. This isn't a contest about that. It's
yeah,
just
not
that
at all.
Twiztid took a hard left turn into bullshittery. Right. There's no it's not just about the march, like we said. It's not just about it's There's a lot to it. But ultimately what I'll say is ultra capable rappers, ultra capable artists with some great achievements that have the maturity of angry children.
Yeah.
And when I'm listening on my headphones to music, half of their shit is total garbage.
Yeah.
Half their shit is timeless.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's really the best way to put it.
I mean, it's interesting. I want to hear what you have to say closing it out, though, because you have an interesting Mr. 2020 hindsight. Remember, as he said, you have that more than anyone, being only a juggalo for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I you get to see it all in hindsight. So
right. So for me, it's interesting because obviously, when I came in, but even prior to that, you had told me briefly about Twiztid, and I always thought it was interesting from the surface value that I knew at the time of like, oh, they we're with Psychopathic, left because of this, and this, and then getting deeper into it, I'm like, oh, okay, like now I get the hate. So for me to see it like as I 4 or 5 years,
and why they were loved so much.
Yeah,
too,
exactly,
right?
and why they were loved. So it's interesting to see that shift, or to kind of see it as I have learned of like them going from this mad love, the family era, greatness, to just suck assness that they're at now.
And even if you still think their music's great, they're what I don't know any juggalo that would approve of the character they exhibit or fail to exhibit.
Right.
Isn't that fair? Just the way they behave.
Right.
It's passive aggressive, which you and I both hate.
Yes.
I know you do.
Yeah, a lot. I hate it a lot. And I think, to kind of add to that, I think if there's anyone out there who thinks that they were right, that Twiztid was right, I certainly would love to hear, even in the comment section, I'd love to hear.
Please
let us know if you do agree with Twiztid and the decisions they've made. I'd love to hear more because, like you said, I can't think of any juggalo, at least that you and I know, that would agree with that.
Yeah. It's really a shame. I mean, I hate to dumb down the ending here, but we enjoy. At the end of the day, folks, enjoy any music that makes you happy.
Absolutely.
Like, no matter what. Enjoy whatever music makes you happy. But from a juggalo perspective, which only a juggalo can understand.
Right.
When we listen to like a song like We Don't Die, I still love it, but I listen to it now with, it feels like I got 8 warheads in my mouth. Because I know it's all lies.
Yeah.
And all bullshit.
Exactly.
So, in the end, great 25 years. They could be doing a lot better.
Right.
Betraying them was a dumb decision.
Your final thoughts. Betraying them was a dumb decision.
But, they do have music to stand on that will stand a lot of time for a lot of folks.
Right.
So, I would say Twiztid, good luck to you. I haven't been paying attention for good reason.
Right.
I hated even doing some of this homework, but a lot of it's been up to date for me with years, other than their actual album releases, a couple of them. But all love to Juggalos, always.
Hell yeah.
Shout out fucking Shaggy,
the
Airhead, and Lazy, and Crazy.
Sir.
These Gathering exclusives, and Jacob, thank you for getting these for us, doing the trade.
Thank you to you, man.
They're fucking epic, dude.
Oh, yeah.
ICP forever.
Yeah.
The Hatchet forever.
Yeah.
The Wicked Clowns will never die. Juggalos don't die. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
And fuck Twiztid, by the way.
Fuck them! Fuck them up against the wall. Where handcuffs on and crazy through on their lips. That's all you do.
Words to live by.
You live by them, son.